All right, guys, and if there's anything you want to chime in and say, by all means, feel free. And let's just start with the basics here. Why do you want to use pay-per-click? There's obviously a lot of different marketing out there. Elon and I even do a lot of marketing. I'm just going to show you some of our more current campaigns and just what we've been able to achieve even in the last 2 weeks or so you can get the power of this. But so why pay-per-click? Well, with old marketing, let's say direct sales and direct mail type marketing, it takes a very, very long time to see your results. And with pay-per-click, it's the type of marketing you can literally see your results in just a few days, practically instantaneously. Although you do want to do some testing, so I would say just at least a few days. But you can get very, very fast results. It's also extremely easy to track your results. You can attack many, many markets at a single time with a single campaign. As I said before, you can get instant statistics doing this kind of marketing, which again is very different than old school marketing, where you might mail out hundreds of thousands of pieces of something and really wait a long time to really just to find out what your marketing is doing. And if you really do this correctly, then it can be very cost effective. I mean, we are running campaigns right now where I'll show you we're literally paying 30 cents per click, and still pulling in applicants and leads and adding people to our list and all that kind of really good stuff. So that's just a little bit about why I think pay-per-click is advantageous. So before we go, just to define a few things in case people really have no experience with this. There's three major things you're going to want to know about pay-per-click, and there's a little example of one of our latest campaigns on the bottom. I know it's probably small for you guys. By the way, under that orange arrow on the top right of your screen, if anything's too small, you can get a full screen view. So to define impressions, impressions is the amount of times that your ad is actually seen by people on Facebook. It doesn't mean that they've taken any action with it, but every time you see one of those little ads on the right-hand side of your screen, that's actually one impression. So even if a person's refreshing their page and the same ad is showing up over and over again, even for a single person, each time it shows up, that's actually an impression. Then there's obviously clicks. Clicks is when someone takes an action on your ad, they actually click on it, and that drives the traffic or that particular person to wherever you want to lead them to, be it a landing page, somewhere inside of Facebook, or a sales letter of some kind, really whatever your marketing is geared at. And then the last thing you need to know is CTR, which is actually the click-through rate. So what that exactly means is the percentage that you'll get between your impressions and clicks. So if you look at the example below, I know it's a little bit small, but the impressions down there is right here, what I'm circling with the mouse. It's almost 21,000 impressions. You'll see we have almost 300 clicks, and that gives me a CTR of 15%. So something you need to know about CTR on Facebook, if you're somebody who's used Google AdWords, for instance, I know CTR tends to be a little bit higher there. If you're doing anything over 10%, meaning 0.10 on your CTR on Facebook, that's pretty good. If you're at 0.2, you're pretty much at rock star status, and anything in between there is fairly good to keep running that campaign. You'll notice sometimes there's what we call ad blur if your ads have been running a long time, and you'll actually notice over here the 10.6, what that says frequency. So that's actually the amount of times per user this ad has shown up on their screen. And that's a total for all the ads, not for each and every ad. But sometimes what happens is when a person sees an ad too many times, it's kind of like once you see something a long time, you don't really take notice of it anymore. So you actually start seeing your CTR drop off. And usually our cutoff point is 5%. So when we see things drop to 0.05, we either pause that ad or we actually delete it. And I would really urge you to take note of that, because that's as you're tracking your ads and you see that dropping off, it's pretty much your breaking point. Okay. And then you can see even this is exactly the advertising I was talking about, and I'll show it to you live in the back office. This is actually a snapshot from last night. You'll notice that we spent $90 for about 300 clicks. So if you do a math on that, it literally ends up being 30 cents a click. And I'll show you how we got to that, okay? So those are your definitions, and now I just want to talk about what's really important in your ads, okay? So a lot of people think that copy is extremely important, and what I know about humans is we're very good at creating reasons why not to do things. And one of the reasons that people always come up with is they think they don't know what to write in their ad. They don't know what kind of marketing to put in there that's going to really be effective, and get people gung-ho about clicking their ads, but I have to tell you, on Facebook, what you write is by far the least important thing. Your title probably takes up about 15% of what's important, and then your pictures really are what's going to make the difference in your advertising. And just think about what people are doing on Facebook. You know, anytime you're doing marketing to someone on Facebook, you're actually interrupting their flow. We actually call this interruption marketing. So think about what people come to Facebook for. They come to kind of hang out, check out what their friends are doing, and then once in a while you kind of see a picture that's intriguing to you on your newsfeed, and you'll click on it, right, and see what your friends are doing. You're like, oh, looks like they were having fun. So marketing in turn on Facebook kind of operates the same way. The way you grab people's attention is through photos, and you really want to kind of use the type of photos that you notice yourself getting attracted to. And we're going to get into more detail about that in a second. But that's just what I wanted to drive home here, that more than anything, the picture you choose is going to probably drive whether or not you're successful in your marketing. All right, so let's talk about pictures. Now, these things are not going to make any sense to you just looking at it, but I'm going to give you some context. That picture on the left-hand side with the big red arrow, there is a website called Clicktail, and what Clicktail does, it actually lets people see where people are clicking on a particular page, right? So this gentleman who did this case study actually took different ads on Facebook and used Clicktail, and you can see all those little white spots all over the screen. Those actually indicate different clicks. Now, if you notice on this one particular picture, and I know you can't see what it is, but I'll tell you in a second, you'll see that this bright area, it literally works like infrared. The more red it is, the more clicks it gets. So you can see there's a centralized amount of clicks on here. So what this picture of is, it's a picture of a woman. And you might be laughing right now, but you know, advertising, there's a reason in beer commercials they use women, and that use, you know, beautiful women all over different advertisings. And it's not just because it's attractive to men, but I'm sure you know other women like looking at women also. So what tends to work in advertising is actually pictures of women doing different things. Now, when Facebook first started doing marketing, this might be a little more than PG-13, but you know, there was like gratuitous amount of breasts all over Facebook, and that's really what that picture of. There's some cleavage in that picture, and that's why all the clicks are are where they are. And Facebook has kind of cleaned that up because obviously the demographic is younger on there, and it's just not appropriate to have those images everywhere. But the point I'm trying to make here is that women sell, for lack of a better word. And when you're doing any type of marketing, you always want to make sure you're split testing. So let's talk about split testing real quick, and that leads us to the picture on the right-hand side. So what you'll notice on the picture on the right-hand side is that it has the same exact title, it has the same exact copy, but the only difference here is the picture. And this just goes to prove to my point. So if you look at the CTR, you know, the first picture is doing 3% with the male. The person was paying about $1.30 per click. That's, you know, pretty expensive. And then you have the same exact copy, same exact title, and you have just a picture of a woman. And there you have it. This guy is doing almost 43% in his click-through rate, which is absurd, and is paying about 13 cents per click. Okay, so these are actual real case studies. Don't ask me where I got them, but I did a lot of research to find this out. And just a little bit more about pictures from there. You know, other things that tend to work is just interesting things, weird things to just capture people's attention because it's not what they're used to seeing. So the only thing I want to say about that still is that you want to still keep the picture congruent to what you're doing. In fact, if you're not, Facebook most likely will disapprove your ad. And we'll just talk about, you know, disapproving ads towards the end of this thing and what to do about those. But something I want you to take note of, okay? So when you're on Facebook, you're looking dead on your screen or kind of to your left-hand side, upper left. Actually, in general, the eyes tend to move on the screen from the upper left corner down to the bottom right corner. But, you know, for most of the time, you're staring at the center of the screen. So the ads are actually kind of in your peripheral vision. If you ever want to know if a picture you're using is a good picture, just kind of glare off a little bit to the left of your screen and let the picture just stay in your peripheral vision. And if you still take kind of notice of that picture, it's probably a pretty good picture. And the reason I say that, that's exactly how people take notice of advertisements on Facebook, okay? So examples of bad pictures are things that are kind of far away, things that are blurry. If it has, you know, if like this picture over here, website's written by a pro was really blurry or really small, it's just not a good picture. It's not going to convert well. So again, just to take away from here, just make sure if you're not using women, you're using something interesting. And the kind of a tip I have for you, and Facebook really allows this, no problem, is you just save a picture from Google, wherever, it doesn't matter, and then open that picture up in your paintbrush utility, whether it's on your Mac or your PC, doesn't matter, and put a red border, just like a thin red border around your picture, and it makes the picture much more visible. I've done tests, and my click-through rate goes much, much higher when I put red borders around my pictures than when I don't. Okay, so it's definitely something to take note of. All right, let's move on here. All right, so now let's talk about targeting, and then I'm actually going to take you into building a campaign for a second and show you kind of how I would think about it and build it out. So the next part of your campaign building is going to be you choosing your keywords. I'm going to use a network marketing company, Herbalife, just because I've had a good amount of success with them. So I'll kind of take you through my thought process. And your average person, if they were marketing to Herbalife people, is just going to market to Herbalife, and for all intents and purposes in this example, I'm just going to go after Herbalife targeting. But if you really sit and think about it, we call it building your avatar. If you're going to build your avatar, you really got to get in the mind of people in these companies. There's a reason that specific people join specific companies. You'll tend to find that there's like-minded people in those companies. So you want to think about maybe the books that these people read. A lot of people in home business, for instance, read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Or they follow Tony Robbins, things of that nature. You got to think about maybe the companies that they're into besides their own. Obviously, if they work for Herbalife, they're probably somewhat healthy, or they're using the products and getting healthy, so maybe they're interested in P90X. I don't know. Or if you hang out in those groups, you just know the demographic, what kind of hobbies these people have, where they hang out. And all this stuff are things that you can actually market on Facebook, because what Facebook has made available that was never available before is that people are literally volunteering their information. Every time you click like on something, you're literally telling Facebook exactly what you like. So in that sense, as marketers, we can totally use that information to target exactly what we need to target. And really hone in on the people that we want to market to. Okay, so let me actually take you back into Facebook, a little break from the boring slideshow here. So this is actually my back office. I paused a bunch of these things. I really just wanted to show you two things here, but for right now, let's just create an ad. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. All right, so in Facebook you have a few options. You have Facebook ads, you have sponsored stories. Honestly, I've never used a sponsored story before in my life. I'm sure I should probably do some testing with it, but for this purpose, it's just Facebook ads. And you have really two options here. You have an external URL, or you can actually send it internally into Facebook. For these purposes, I'm going to show you to an external URL. So places you might want to send people are, any landing pages you might have, if you have a sales letter, what else? If you're looking to build a list of people that you can continuously market to, it's also a great place to send people to your opt-in page, really anything at all. But just for right now, I'll type in just satoriprime.com, just so this is complete. And then we're going to be marketing to Herbalife people. So, there's one thing I know about network marketers, that it's like any other small business. 97% of people are completely struggling. And the funny thing about network marketing in general is people love the companies. Many of these companies have fantastic products, but you basically have a sales force of people where 97% of them have absolutely no sales or marketing education. So it's kind of funny in that way that people go do a sales and marketing job without literally getting any sales or marketing education, but it is what it is, and that's, I think, why people struggle. So, but you got to think about people's struggle, right? Because you want to talk to their problem and offer them a solution to their problem. And so, for instance, one of the problems that network marketers have is they hate making cold calls because they don't really know who to market to normally. So one of the problems they really have is generating leads. So your title might be, either struggling in Herbalife, something like that, or it could be learn how to generate leads, if that fits. No, learn how to generate leads, or 25 leads, let's say. And then your copy could be, still struggling. Oops. Still struggling. I was also then I found this. Click here to find out. This is just, I'm not saying that's the best copy in the world, but just something out of the back of my mind. That's something that there's gonna be some curiosity. They're gonna be interested. Okay, what does this person know that I don't know? How are they generating 25 leads? Or the title can say struggling in Herbalife, and at the bottom it says learn how to generate 10 leads a day for your business. Would that make a difference for you? Find out how I do it. Something to that effect, where the person's like, wow, I really do have that problem, and maybe this person has a solution for me. So I actually just saved one of the pictures I use for this. So this will be just like an example of a picture I might use. And I know I'm not using a woman, but I found that this kind of stuff works really well also. And where I got this idea from is street signs. Look at every street sign when you drive. It's always yellow background, black writing. It also lets me put in a little bit more copy, which is one of the kind of ninja tricks I want to teach you, because Facebook is really okay with these type of things. It's congruent to the ad, and you can really write anything here. So even if I'm not putting Herbalife in the title, you see I'm actually calling out Herbalife Associates. So it's like there's no mistake as to who I'm actually going after here. Somebody in Mona V or some other company is not going to go click on this. They're going to want to find this out, and maybe even some of you on this line are actually, people clicked on this type of ad, and that's how you're on this webinar right now. All right, so I told you we'd talk about targeting, and really where I like to target is to keep it in countries that are English speaking. I tend to find that they are the ones that buy, like Pakistan and all these other countries. I'm not trying to stereotype, but it's just, the realism of it. So another way to do this is, go do some research on a company. If you're going to market to people in a specific company, find out exactly how they speak, find out their language, find out what countries they operate in. So Herbalife I know is in a few countries, so just top, kind of like the big four is Canada, United Kingdom, and Australia, right? And then you're going to see how this estimated reach is going to constantly change as we put in more things here, and how it's going to get more and more targeted. The other thing I found is that people in network marketing in general, the demographic that tends to buy the most is an older demographic. I would guess that it's because younger people aren't sick of working yet, or whatever kind of, we've all been told the American dream and what's possible, but people get frustrated at some point. They feel that they've been deceived, and they really want to go build something for themselves and develop that entrepreneurial mind. So I tend to market to at least 35 and above. But something I'm going to show you here that you can do, again, going back to split testing. And when I say split testing, I mean you actually put together a very similar ad. It could actually have the same title. It could have the same copy. Maybe you just change the picture. But for the case here where how I'm going to split test it is actually by age. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to only do 35 to 45-year-olds. That's going to be my entire target. And you're going to see once I create this ad, I'll actually do it. I'll show you how you can create multiple ads very, very quickly and actually target different age groups or different sexes, or just maybe change where the ad is being targeted to, okay? So I'll show you that in just 1 minute. But for right now, we're just going to go after both men and women. And here's a really great trick I'm going to show you guys. So let's say we're targeting Herbalife, right? So you just type in Herbalife, and then you get all the list of Herbalife things that are associated with that target. So once you click on it, you see it turns blue. That means it's accepted. And basically and now we have an estimated reach of about 10,000 people. So what that means is between those 4 countries and in the demographic of those 10 years and that age group, and just with this Herbalife, with that first targeted keyword, there's 10,000 people in that keyword. Now we can just keep typing in Herbalife and just literally go down this list. Right? And then once the list is tapped out, I'm going to show you what happens, because this is where most people are marketing, right? This is where everybody's competing right now for the attention of Herbalife, and there's even few in here that don't make any sense because we're not targeting Taiwan or Serbia or any of those countries. But here's what people normally miss. We call this the A to Z trick, and you definitely want to write this down. So when you're targeting on Facebook, if I go type in Herbalife again, and I'm just going to copy and paste this and then show you what I'm going to do. So now I'm going to type in A, and that doesn't make any sense to me, so I'm not going to use it. But I'm basically going to go through the entire alphabet, A through Z, and you'll notice that now things are popping up that were not popping up before. And how perfect is this? Herbalife business opportunity. If somebody likes that, you have a person who's entrepreneurial minded, or, so you can actually just go through the B's now. Just copy and paste, go through the B's. And let's say I got everything I wanted there, and I go through the C's. And you'll notice for each letter, if there is something there associated with it, you're going to find a lot more keywords to attack. And most people don't do this or don't know about this. You're like, Mark Hughes, that's perfect, right? So people who like Mark Hughes, obviously only people in the company are probably going to know about Mark Hughes. Now, it might be interesting to actually look up Mark Hughes and see if there's anything on. So here we go. So you can actually now target Mark Hughes. I promise you, most people are not going after those keywords. And you see our estimated reach is constantly changing. So now we're already up to 26,000. So you kind of see the power of this, right? You can really dig and find things that normally people just don't look for because they're really just going to go after those first ones that they see. All right. So now let's go back to our slideshow because I want to talk to you guys about bidding and just give you a couple of tidbits before we go back and I'll show you how to actually do this. So when you put in your bid, Facebook is actually going to suggest to you the lowest bid to the highest bid that they have, and they're going to just automatically put in something like a median bid automatically for you. Now you don't want to use that bid. What you want to do is you want to look at the lowest bid that they're offering, and you want to bid above 3 to 4 cents higher than that lowest bid. Okay? And even if that bid seems kind of high to you, and we'll see what it is in a moment, I'll tell you why that's not such a bad thing in just a second, okay? After you place your bid, you're going to let your ads run for a little bit. You can check back in a day, you can check back in 2 days, and what's going to happen is if you have a successful campaign running and people are clicking on it, because what happens is when your campaign first launches, it's literally going to launch all over Facebook, like boom, like a big explosion. And what Facebook is measuring is, are people actually clicking on your ads? Because that's how Facebook makes money. They're not going to show ads that nobody's clicking on because then they're not making money. So basically, if your ads start getting clicks almost immediately, now Facebook starts giving it like more juice basically, and they start distributing it more. So you'll see the more successful your ad campaign is, the more success it actually gets. And the ones that aren't successful, you'll know about them really, really quick, and you'll just want to either change your picture or you'll just want to change your target. You know, you just got to kind of keep testing and tweaking and seeing what works for your market, but don't give up on your marketing just because you tried it one time and it doesn't work, or you just get an ad disapproved one time and it doesn't work. And again, we'll talk about disapproved ads in just a second. But if you really notice that after a few days you have an ad, you know, it's a lot of impressions, there's barely any clicks, and you're paying a lot for a click, CTR is really low, then you can erase or you can pause that ad completely. Okay? And that's really what I wanted to tell you guys about bidding. So now I'll actually show you it live. So there's some advanced stuff here that you can go through, but this is really probably could be a whole conversation in itself, so I don't want to go too deep into that right now. You know, once you create a campaign, you're going to want to create a new campaign here. I believe I had one actually, so I'm just going to use that, but you just create it. So let's do Herbalife test for this. It also allows you to pick a schedule, so if you don't want to start your campaign right away, you don't have to. And then you have two options here. You have pay for impressions. It's called CPM. You would think M would stand for million, but it actually stands for milli. So you actually pay per 1,000 impressions. I actually don't recommend that. That's a really advanced type of way to do advertising. I would only do that once you know that you have a really successful campaign and you know that the moment you put it up, like this thing is going to get clicked on like crazy. And that way, it's actually, you'll save yourself a ton of money doing that. But for generally speaking, you really want to go cost per click, and this will actually change for every single keyword that you put in. It'll constantly live update. So some keywords will push the price up, some will push down, just really depending on how much how much competition you have there. So you'll see, I actually did this earlier just to test, and I was around $2.01. So it means that we found some keywords here that are not very competitive, which pushed down the price almost a whole 40 cents from when I did it, just a few hours ago. So like I told you, you're gonna bid this up either 3 or 4 cents. I'll bid it up 4 cents, and that's pretty much it. You're done with your ad campaign. So I'm gonna place the order. Hopefully it doesn't take too long, and then I'm gonna show you how to do a split test like immediately. Okay. So now this is gonna be in your back office. This is where all the information is gonna be. And then the status is showing that this is pending review, and I don't know why it didn't take everything we wrote for some reason, but that's okay. So once this is approved, it's going to be a green arrow, like a play sign. If it's disapproved, it'll be a red circle with a line through it, a white line through it. If it's disapproved, I do recommend erasing it immediately. Okay? And unfortunately, you're kind of have to gonna stick by your email and just make sure that you see whether it's approved or disapproved. And what I tend to do is I build the campaign out with a whole bunch of these, let's say 5 to 10 different split tests, because obviously I don't know what's going to work when I start a campaign. And what I do is I actually pause the entire campaign until I'm ready to launch them all at the same time, because I actually want them all going at the same time, because they sometimes tend to not approve everything at one time. Now I'm a little bit perplexed as to why this didn't go, and I can't show you what I wanted to show you. Okay, you know what, let's do this really, really quick again. Hopefully it takes, maybe I timed out. Just stick with me, guys. Oh, it's really acting up now. Okay, let's try this one more time. There we go. Just going to keep it really, really basic. So you notice the suggested bid is completely different now than it was before. Right, hopefully it actually takes this time. Voila. Okay, great. So what I wanted to show you is you're actually going to have this second option over here now called create a similar ad. So you just go ahead and click on that. It opens a new page. And what you're going to get is the same exact ad that you just created. I know mine doesn't say very much right now, but for time purposes, obviously I did that. And when you want to split test it, so all I would do here is maybe change the title or maybe change the copy. Usually I don't change the copy though, just change the image to something else. Or in our case, I would just change the age, right? So I would just go to, let's say 45 to 55. And then I would just scroll right back down, place the order. And you see the suggested bid actually change and the amount of people change. But again, you're just going to change that accordingly to what you're building. And now, see, we have that right away. And now if I wanted to, create another ad group, another age group, or another sex group, or whatever it might be, I just really click on create a similar ad, go back in, make that small change, hit place order, and we're all set. Okay, so that's exactly what you do. I'm just gonna erase these real quick so they don't start charging me. More on this. All right, great. So I'm going to just show you a couple examples of what I've been able to do. This campaign, let's do the whole thing, has been running for, I want to say, about 8 or 9 days, Elon. Correct me if I'm wrong. You guys saw a snapshot of it yesterday when it was at $90 and 298 clicks. We got 26 clicks today on, I think, maybe 100 impressions. This thing is, pretty much kicking butt right now. You can see some of our click-through rates are really good. This one's almost at 2. This single campaign right here. And I'm actually driving this traffic, believe it or not, to a group that I created on Facebook. So I'm going to show you another advantage, because when you send, when you have an ad that you're sending traffic to inside of Facebook, what actually happens is the ad has a little option for you to like the ad on the bottom. So if people like the ad, not only does Facebook know that your ad is popular and it'll push it out more, but they're actually liking the group. So what I've been doing is actually building a list of people in Herbalife that ultimately what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to be able to target them directly. So this ad, I can actually show you exactly when I created the group. So the group created, my first post was exactly when I created it. This is a free offer for a black book that I was offering, and you could see it was on July 18th. So what are we at today? Today's the 27th. So 9 days in, and I've been able to build a list of 145 people. And how I'm going to end up using this, and this is just to give you guys like a little bit of an idea. If I go back to creating an ad, let's say, and instead of sending people, instead of advertising to, well, I can keep advertising to the external link, but what I can do now is instead of targeting over here, and this is what I was saying, it's a little bit advanced, but I can actually target people who are in my group. So you see Herbalife Tutor shows over here, so it's target users who are connected to, and these are connected to my group. And now notice what the cost per click is. The cost per click is so low because there's no competition here at all. This is literally just me, and this is probably not accurate to how many people this would really reach, but you can see what this is going to do. Not only that, but it lets me actually leverage the group itself, that I can, when I put postings up here, this shows up on 145 people's pages. So I've actually been able to create leads for my opportunity through here. And that's just been a really, really nice thing, and it's kind of something I stumbled into, and nobody even really taught us that, Elon, but we did a test, and it worked amazing, and that's just kind of something we've been doing recently. Another thing is, again, that black book offer. I've been using that to target people in different industries. I'm not going to show you exactly what those are, but you see it's kind of a new campaign also, and you'll see that our CTR is pretty good, not spending too much money, and we've actually been able to collect a few applications for our opportunity here as well. Okay, so just a couple examples of what you can do. If you're wondering for yourself, okay, where am I going to find images that are congruent with what I'm looking for? You literally can go on Google. There's Google Images. I'm sure you guys know that. And you can search, let's say we were talking about women before, so you can type in Herbalife women and just see what this returns, and you'll see it's a whole bunch of stuff that's really congruent with Herbalife's message, Herbalife's mentality, the people who are involved with Herbalife, because it's a very healthy type of lifestyle. So, there's a runner here, women working out, that kind of stuff, and I'm sure you'll see a couple of their logos, like things of that nature. And these are the kind of pictures that you want to use. So this one would be perfect. I'm sure that would convert really well. This one would definitely target, people in like moms and that kind of stuff who are looking for a home business, or maybe stay-at-home moms. Like I don't really know exactly who would click on it, but you kind of get the point, right? Okay, so let's go back to the slideshow, and that's really it. That's the basics of building a campaign on Facebook, and then for each different campaign, I would just create a new campaign with a new budget for them. So if I'm attacking a different company, let's say MonaV or ACN or something, I would just create a campaign group for them and really do the same exact process I showed you guys, okay? Also, I wanted to mention, I think a good starting budget for testing is about $10 a day. But once you know that you have, there is something I need to go back to. Once you know that something works really well, you can definitely up your budget, and it'll really help you out. Let's go back to this one. So here's what I want to show you. When I first bid on this, I was probably about $1.50 to $2. And you'll see right now my cost per click are almost all of them are under 30 cents a piece. And if you come back here, two things you should know. Number one, this is going to show suggested bid hopefully in a second again. But number one, if you come here and the lowest bid says, let's say $1.72, and you're thinking to yourself, there's no way I'm going to pay $1.72 a lead, I can pretty much guarantee you that 99% of the time you're not going to pay that much. You're going to pay a smaller number than that, maybe $1.25, $1.40. But actually, as the popularity grows, the suggested bid is going to start going down, because Facebook kind of gives you a discount if you have a campaign that's working well. So that's why I said you want to come back here every few days and just check what the suggested bid is, and then lower it accordingly. Again, using that 3 to 4 cent rule, I would guess that this one's probably going to be a lot lower than what I'm bidding. You see, so over here I can actually change my bid now to 67 cents, and I'm still going to get impressions, and I'm still going to get clicks doing that. Okay, so that's really the last point I want to touch upon. I kind of forgot to mention that to you guys. All right, so now that was the training, and now I just wanted to give you guys some really great resources that completely changed our business, really had to start thinking about things differently. I made some really easy links for you guys to follow them so you don't have to write down long links. For network marketers, online marketers, really anybody in the home business market, I think it's pivotal for you to go and pick up magnetic sponsoring. It's written by Mike Dillard. Mike Dillard is an 8-figure earner. He's been some of the top earners in some of the most major network marketing companies. Magnetic Sponsoring is an ebook and also a class that you can take. By far, one of the most eye-opening things I have ever read. Had me think about marketing and selling in a completely different way. And I'm just going to read you this quick quote so you understand how different, how we think, what he brought to the market and why this changed everything. If you've ever heard the term attraction marketing, he literally invented it. So he writes, "Nobody who bought a drill wanted a drill. They wanted a hole. Therefore, if you want to sell drills, you should advertise information about making holes, not information about drills. If you're wondering why you're struggling in your business, you got to consider that you've just been telling people what your opportunity is nonstop and telling them that you have the greatest product in the world. And the case in point is people don't care about what you're doing. They really just care about themselves for the most part. I mean, I know a lot of us want to make a difference. I know it's very important for me and Elon, but we have a very subjective view over the world and it comes from first person. So for the most part, we're really just concerned with ourselves. They don't care what you've done and they don't care, they don't care about that stuff. So what they really care about is how to solve a solution to the problem. Now, if a person, wants to make a hole in the wall, they want to know what the most efficient way to do that is. So giving them their information how to do that, and at the end of it saying, oh, by the way, there's this great drill you can buy, and you're associated with that company somehow where you can make money off of it. That's really how marketing works. And if you're not thinking about marketing and you're wondering why you're struggling, it's because you're not thinking about marketing that way. You're just maybe thinking what's in it for you rather than really getting in the person's world, understanding what their troubles are and understanding how this information can help them, because people love to buy but they hate being sold. So you really need to get to a point where the marketing you're doing is actually having the person kind of sell themselves on the idea. Okay. And Gene is mentioning that I left out the .com. Yeah, that's fine on the marketing campaign. I'm not keeping that running. The other thing is, if you're really looking to take your Facebook education to kind of a whole new level, it's really where I got started with it. Made a huge difference for me, again, with a lot of these little tricks, things you just don't think about. It's funny how it's kind of, a lot of things are simple, I guess, but it's not until somebody tells you about them that you're like, oh yeah, I should be doing that. And the guy who introduced this to us, his name is Anthony Grant. And Anthony Grant is what's considered a guru in the market, and some of the biggest names in the industry have actually used him to create their PPC campaigns. Like, he actually builds it for them and they just pay him a consultation fee. So if you're interested in taking a look at his program, again, I just made a really simple link for you guys. You could just go to fbppc.satoriprime.com. You don't need the www, by the way. It'll just take you right to his landing page. You can opt in and take a look at that for yourself. And again, for Magnetic Sponsoring, it's ms.satoriprime.com. Okay, if anybody can't read that. And then we have one last bonus for you here. And this bonus is for attending our webinar today. If you guys are interested in working with Elon and myself, we're actually going to give you 75% off our application price. And just to explain to you why we take application. I know if you're in network marketing, that's unusual to you maybe. Well, in our business, what happens is we actually don't talk to anybody who's a cold call or even a warm call, really. By putting value first and then letting people go through an application process, we're completely clear about that the person is very serious about the business, and it separates people who are serious from people who are just tire kicking and looking to maybe get into a get rich quick scheme or something to that effect. It really keeps the people who are not serious entrepreneurs away from us, and that way we never have to spend our time talking to people who aren't serious. I could tell you, Elon and I both talk to our prospects, and every phone call is just a pleasure to have. And it's really because of this application process. So normally this application is sold for almost $40, but if you actually go to that link that's on the page right now, and you should definitely take note of it, you're actually going to get 75% off. And I want to show you something really cool. Whoop, I didn't mean to do that, but I'm going to just take you to that page so you can see it. Open up a new page here. So this is the page. That's me and Elon, obviously. There's some great information for you here to read, actually meet the CEO of the company, but I actually just want to show you the bonuses and how much you actually get for your $9.95 beyond just taking the application. So Carbon Copy Pro, which is the company that we work with and the education that we use, and kind of our choice is just for taking the application, you're going to get these free gifts. This is actually a book written by the CEO of the company. Again, he's an 8-figure earner, kind of like the envy of the home business world. He was selling this book for $97. You can now pick it up for the cost of the application. You also have a Millionaire Mindset online CD you can listen to by Jeffrey Combs, who's one of the wealthiest home business owners on the planet. And then you have, a whole bunch of other books here that try not to read every one of them to you, but I know Ann Sieg for a fact. She's actually in our opportunity and is always at the top of the boards, but she's been around this business for 25, 30 years in network marketing, and wherever she goes, people tend to follow. So her attraction marketing manifesto is here, as well as Kara Newman, who's actually one of my direct mentors, and she wrote a book called Experience Mapping, how you can actually take your own experience and map it onto your home business and use that to build a brand and leverage the business. So if you are interested in working with us, you'll notice these just add to cart buttons all over this page here and towards the bottom. You literally click on it. It's going to take you right to a credit card processing page. This is, fully 100% guaranteed, 30-day money-back guarantee. If for any reason you don't qualify, you can get your money right back. But, this way or that way, those 5 books are for you to keep. And it also lets us know that you are, deadly serious about getting started in this industry and in this business, and we'll treat you as such, okay? So last thing here is, we're just going to open it up for Q&A till the end of the hour. If anybody has any questions at all, you know what? Let's just go back one slide. Sorry. After this call, Elon and I are actually going to make ourselves available on the phone for 20 minutes. So feel free to call us. That's our number below. If not today, you can call us, leave us a voicemail if somebody else is calling and we can't pick up. And just let us know how we can assist you. We have a ton of tools and resources. Even if you have no interest in working with us, that's fine. We'll absolutely help you find something that helps you build your business. That's what we're really about, is just making a difference for people and helping them, see what's possible, and really waking them up to a choice that they have. And that choice is that there is a new way to work today, and there is a way to create that freedom. And we work with people to really get all the stuff out of their way that helps them achieve that success. Because Elon and I have been in personal development for nearly 10 years. We've coached multiple programs. In fact, a girl is on this line right now that I coached, who joined up with us and is working with us, and she's a sweetheart and a great girl, and that's just what we do. So, again, if you have any questions and you just want to type them into the box down there, we'll be happy to do the best we can to possibly answer them. So, go ahead. And if not, we'll wrap it up and say goodnight to you guys. I guess we did a really good job, Elon. Good. Susan's asking if I'm an Herbalife distributor. Susan, no. Elon and I are done with network marketing, and it's not to put anybody down. It could be really great and really awesome, but when we found the top tier direct sales model, that was just it was like a breath of fresh air after the network marketing experience. Anybody else have any questions for us? We'll wait another minute, and if we don't get any more questions, we'll tell you guys to have a wonderful night and go rejoin your family and enjoy each other. But if they're in the webinar, they should still be able to, yeah. All right, guys, we're going to close it down. Again, have a wonderful evening. Thank you for joining us. If you need anything from us for the next 20 minutes or so, feel free to give us a call. We'll be happy to help you. Otherwise, have a wonderful evening, and hope you learned something tonight. Take care.